Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2022 Wyndham Championships Picks Preview. One and done, the last event of the PGA Tour regular season. It's taken 11 months to get here, but we are finally at the end. Playoffs start next week in Memphis. Players can still get themselves into the field, and you can still get yourself into the best tournament on DraftKings by playing in the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Listeners League. Link is now available down in the description. Only 2,000 spots as we're winding towards the end of the season. We'll have one more next week, and then it's on to football for the Listeners League. Plus, Jeff, Tim, and I will start having our NFL show starting Tuesday, tomorrow, after this show. So get yourself excited. We're into primetime PME territory for like the next 3 months. Everyone's favorite shows. We'll have Pizzola and Cam. They'll be back. A new special show, potentially, on Sunday evenings live to recap the week and get you ready for what's going to happen as we gloat about losing money every single week. Smash the like to the episode, sub to Mayo Media Network, and sub to the podcast. Leave those ratings and reviews. Always helps. In the newsletter, where all the final bets will come out on Wednesday evening. Free to join down in the description as well. Geoff Fienberg is on the line. Did you ever think there would be a time where not only prolific winner Tony Finau would go back-to-back, first time in ages on the PGA Tour, someone has gone back-to-back wins in consecutive weeks, but you weren't there for two of Tony's wins. It's kind of crazy.
Not only was I not there, Pat, I actually hold second place tickets in both of them with Grillo and Pendrith. So I'm like that kid in that GIF where it's like, I'm fine. Like some news reporter's asking him a question and he's trying to keep it together. Yeah, I was always, though, a guy that liked to play Tony at double the number. Like, give me double the field strength at 30, give me 3 times the field strength, flirting with 50. These were ones I didn't really mess with. I'm happy for him. I am. I would have liked to have hit one of them, not gonna lie, but couldn't get there last week on the price. And then this week it felt like going back to back. Even for me, I felt that sounds pretty crazy. But hey, he's a winner, and not gonna lie, like just not long ago, Pat, we were even trying to kick him off the Ryder Cup team. So it's not gonna do that anymore. So we're good. We're good, Tony. And you know what? We're soon up gonna play where he won last year. Maybe he'll win again. Late season Scheffler.
No, but that's not actually what happened if you look at it, because they revamped the playoffs this year, because St. Jude is now the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Before, it was a WGC. So Tony won this event last year, but not at the same course.
Makes sense. Already saw the 50s for Augusta getting slashed. Like a site had it 50 last night, then they slash it to 30, and then this morning they boost it to 40. Nice scene. Yeah, I know our sponsor, DraftKings, had the 50s still up there last night. It's funny, already thinking about the next major. I don't know that out-dueling Grillo and holding off Pendrith and, Cantley that kind of never got within 2 of Tony. It's going to make you think he can win the Masters, but he's just acknowledging every step of the way. Maybe he'll feel more comfortable in those important major situations. So we'll see, I guess. This year it was funny, though. It was the non-majors where he was dominant and the majors and the bigger events where he didn't really show himself. And it kind of all started in Mexico. And since Mexico, it's really been unconscious. And you take out the 2 majors, it's been like out of this world. So the wins match up with everything he's done statistically, honestly.
It's kind of insane to think about, like 3 wins. I mean, can't win Tony now has 3 wins in the past 11 months on the PGA Tour, including, like I said, the back-to-back and a playoff event. It'll be the full calendar year as we get to next week when the playoffs actually commence. But it's funny to think about the guys who can't win, and then they go on these streaks. So, I mean, for a while, it was Patrick can't win, and then he won like 4 times in 7 events or something crazy like that to end last year. Then you had Scotty Scheffler, who we've been betting on for ages. Guy can't win. He's close, can't win. Then he just goes insane, ends up winning a major. You have Matthew Fitzpatrick. Everyone always bets him at majors, and eventually he just wins the U.S. U.S. Open. And then Xander Schauffele, who, oh yeah, I can't win a full field event, whatever, wins the team event, wins that Pro-Am, then he wins 2 real events around the same time. Now Tony goes back-to-back. Who's the next guy? Like, who's the next prolific winner that has that stigma of can't win, and when the floodgates open, it's just going to happen? Like, Zalatoris seems to be the very easy answer. Cam Young is probably at the top of that list now too, but is there anyone else you can think of?
Yeah, see, that's a weird list because even Cam Young, Zalatoris, and to sane people, even Scheffler was still like probably a year away from being like picked on. I don't know. I hope it's the Los Angeles Chargers, Pat.
I was hoping it's Corey Connors, but that's me.
That makes perfect sense, and can't wait to talk about him in a few moments. Yeah, that's actually a great kind of call out of the way. Although he did win, was it? Well, that could be, that win feels.
That was like 2018, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think it was either 2018, 2019, because he Monday queued, or he was the first alternate, and then he just got into that field. Yeah, 2019 Valero Texas Open. He was unconscious that week with his irons.
Yeah, maybe, or even in that note, like Russell Henley.
Yeah, but
another guy.
Like Henley's legit been around for like 12, 13 years now. And he has,
but he can't win it. It's been forever.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be winning a bunch.
Okay, you're right. Sorry. Looking at that. Yeah, who do I bet on? This is pretty much my betting card. I bet on these guys, and then they win when I'm whatever. But I just mean the guys that I bet on, the guys I love. Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, but he doesn't play enough anymore.
Oh, I don't know. Trying to think, who do I lose a lot of money on because I believe they're uber talented, and then they'll finally win, and I won't bet them a lot.
It's gonna be
the numbers though. I couldn't get there on Tony. Shout out to like my boy our boy Hustler, who rolled over his Tony Minnesota winnings. Is like, I don't care. Even joked with me that like he might like it doesn't matter, just roll him over. So props to all those guys who did that. And yeah, geez, I don't know. Fleetwood has to be my pick. Like, he has to be the pick.
I think Zalatoris is like clearly the pick here.
Yeah, but I feel like Zalatoris and Cam Young, like, it's almost like unfair. But
why? Yeah, I guess, what's different? What's different about Zalatoris than was different about Scheffler coming into this year?
I thought people picking on him was unfair.
Yeah, it's not that it's unfair or fair. It's just that's the stigma that someone has.
Yeah, I guess
you see all these great finishes. 2 full
season. Zalatoris is like too easy of an answer, I guess. But yeah, that's the obvious answer. If we're now going to say it's 2 full actual seasons, is it 2 full seasons?
Not technically, because he like played, but he was playing almost like Tom Kim is right now. So like when Tom Kim's on the PGA Tour next year and he's a rookie, he's not really a rookie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hold Zalatoris in nearly like the same, in that same sort of situation. I haven't put him on any clocks yet.
No, but
it's fair. You're right. You're not wrong. It is the answer. It is.
But Tom Kim is on special temporary membership right now, or he's playing himself to get into that because he keeps getting all these exemptions. He's into the Wyndham field because of his top 10. Great Sunday from old Tommy Boy in Detroit to get himself into the Wyndham field. Bumped out Bobby Garrigus again, I think, and then like Ricky Burns is somehow in the field again. Great news, Ricky Burns. Let's keep giving him spots. We don't want to build up anyone. We need to see 85-year-old Ricky Burns compete for four holes and come DFL. But anyway, Zalatoris did the same thing. Like, he played himself into all these events because he had done so well at the majors and like got himself enough FedEx Cup points. Remember, he wasn't allowed to play in the playoffs.
Yes, you're right on that. Yeah, he wasn't getting those points. I will say, like, I don't feel like people make fun of Zalatoris yet. Like last year when I drafted Scheffler in our league, not so much the guys in the thing, but people were like like it was like, that's a bad pick. That's a bad pick. Like, I don't think people are at the point of like even the slightest mockery. Oh, that's not true. Tambo likes to mock him, but in like a friendly way and how people overbet it. I don't know. It just seems too easy. Maybe I was just trying to go deeper, but there is no other answer. And the only other answer, once we sort of get to once we get out of winter next year, if Cam Young hasn't won, like, he is kind of going to be right there because people argue it's better than Zalatoris in some respects, but you don't want to put him on a clock yet too. It still feels kind of unfair.
It's strange with Cam Young. I could see a situation where Young gets his first win before Zalatoris, because Zalatoris' wins are going to come at a lot like Finau, as we kind of mentioned in the past. Like, it doesn't really matter who's in the field with Zalatoris, that he could win any of the majors.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. I don't know about the Open Championship just as of yet. I think he needs a bit more experience over there, just with those wonky courses. But anytime that a course is difficult, Zalatoris is most definitely in the mix. Something like the Honda Classic, I think, would be really good for Zalatoris. Something where he doesn't need to make every 5-foot birdie putt. It's just he'll continue to generate those, even at the more difficult courses. You make half them, you're still doing way better in the field because you just have so many more birdie opportunities. Cam Young putts well enough that he can win a Rocket Mortgage. He can win a shootout. He can win at a hard course as well. But I look at something in the fall schedule, like the Fortinet or Shriners, one of those places. I think Cam Young could end up winning this year, almost like Bryson did when Bryson finally broke through.
Or even Cantley at Shriners. I think that was his breakthrough, real cheap. But if you wanted to be on it, you paid that super low swing season price on the guy everyone was just waiting. Yeah, that makes total sense. And you were right. Zalatoris does feel like, well, they're so far apart in age. When we had those feelings, you'd almost like rather be on Zalatoris at 33 in a full field. Who knows if that'll be the number next year. We'll see in a couple weeks. Then say Zalatoris at like 12 as chalk in some of these lesser rungs. But now Tony, I don't know, confident Tony, it's fun to see. I've made the jokes last week, like maybe he should withdraw. Like, not actually, but because during Detroit, they were talking about his right on the 30th in FedEx Cup precipice, and that's why he had this heavy Minnesota-Detroit schedule, and he enjoys those courses, and boom goes the dynamite. So let's go. We always picked on him for not being able to close those. Him like losing to Michael Thompson, frustrating in Minnesota a year ago.
Yeah, when Siwoo outdid him at the Amex that year. And that's why Scheffler felt like Tony to me. Because Scheffler was, and why Zalatoris, I think, is separated from this. Because although Scheffler had top 20s in all 4 of the majors a year ago, he wasn't really in contention of any of those majors. The ones that he ended up blowing were like an American Express and one of the Texas tournaments. Obviously, he ended up doing really well in the match play and ended up winning it the year later. But either way, like, it felt like the tournaments that he was close to winning and should have won weren't top tier tournaments. Like Zalatoris loses in a playoff at the PGA Championship. He's in the mix till the very end at the U.S. Open. Like
Torrey Pines
playoff. Torrey Pines playoff. Like, these are big fields. These are tough courses and they're major events. Not all of them like quote unquote majors, but Torrey Pines I would consider to be one of the bigger events of the season. And it feels like you get a bit more leeway. Like holy shit, that was a good performance. He came in second at a major a bunch of times. Not
100%. And let's not forget, like, before Scheffler started winning a lot, there were jokes like, oh, it's Sunday, Scheffler's contending, he's on TV, shank. Like, literally, that was like a vibe that guys that watched like every part of these tournaments, oh, Scheffler's right in the mix now. He just made that clutch moment to put himself in the mix. Shank. And oh my God, Pat, like the we used to make those Finau jokes. He'd like hit that 50-footer and then like miss like the 4-footer, like full Finau. He's a putting confident guy who is ball striking and striping the shit out of it. Good for him. And I heard the broadcast AM radio love the fact that you didn't have to worry about Pendrith finding his form off injury, Pat, because he's a Canadian and we have really short golf seasons. So we know what it's like to put the clubs down for months at a time and pick them right back up. Okay.
I like that. I like that angle a lot. That is a good angle.
I was in the grocery store listening to it. I'm like, I'm going to mock it, but I gotta say, it's an easy one to go with, I tell you. So good for them and good for Pendrith. And Pat, we're here again. Like, I don't know how you quantify Billy Horschel and his 66-1, but good players just win golf tournaments. Like, you're not getting a break. And the John Deere doesn't count. So I'm almost mad I haven't won more bets, considering like where the winners just come from every single week. And Finau.
I want to touch on that in a second because I calculated my winnings / losses for the season. Spoiler, it's a loss. This is the worst betting year I've ever had in terms of golf. So I calculated the actual total amount that I'm down this season. So we'll talk about that in a second. Because listen, I'm not going to lie to you people. You've seen the picks. You know they're not going well. And I have sort of a theory behind why that is the case as I was looking through the past winners. But I want to talk about
1 and under.
20. It's like 20 to 1 and under, especially lately. And that's just not Pat. And it's funny because I hit Rory at 10 to 1. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going with this. And that ended up working out. But other than that, like it's just been a total disaster for me. That range that I like to hit just isn't coming through whatsoever. I'm looking at the Rookie of the Year standings right now. Do you think it's possible to win Rookie of the Year without having a PGA Tour win?
Yeah, I do.
So
I mean, who's got the win and where did it come from?
Let's see. Who has the win? Where is it?
Because even if Pendrith won, I still would have given it. Still, he wouldn't have beaten Cam Young in a vote if I had one.
Chad Ramey is the only rookie winner this year.
Yeah, no. Where'd it come again?
It came in one of the Altfield events. I think it was Puerto Rico.
Done. No, it's Cam Young. It's Cam Young.
So it's Cam Young, who's ninth.
Scheffler won Rookie of the Year without a win.
He did, and so did Zalatoris. I was just looking about it. Here are the past. This is pretty. This is why Zalatoris might break out next year. So you had Zalatoris Rookie of the Year last year, Scheffler before that, Sungjae, Wise, Xander, Griot, Berger, Hadley, Spieth, John, Keegan Bradley, Ricky Fowler, Mark Leishman. Those are your past 12 Rookie of the Year winners on the PGA Tour this year. Looking at it right now, I still think it's... is Mito hurt? Or was he just so Andercursed that he's gone into hiding?
When you say hurt because he didn't play Minnesota, Detroit, or Wyndham.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's just taken some time off.
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Maybe he doesn't care about getting into, he's currently 35th in the FedEx Cup standings. Getting inside that, even the top 25-ish going into the playoffs, as long as you don't absolutely tank in the first two events, you should be good for Eastlake. So I'm surprised more people aren't playing that way, especially as a rookie.
You're not wrong. And the announcers always speak, and it's easy to understand why. There's a focus on that 125, but to the players that the laymen truly care about, they have this hyper focus on that T30 number. That T30 in many ways represents making the All-Star game or
yeah.
I mean,
hold on. What does last place get in the FedEx Cup? Is it 1.5 million just for coming in last in the Tour Championship? It's like a live event.
Yeah, it's something good. I'm sure it's bumped up. Right, everything's gotten a bump since we last spoke about those sorts of things. So,
and yeah. I don't quite know if these FedEx Cup ranks include the guys that have left or those guys have been taken out. I think
they've been taken out.
Yeah, but I mean on the online when they're showing the rankings, I can probably go look that up. FedEx Cup standings. This is a great week. I felt I didn't watch a ton of the Rocket Mortgage. I watched a ton Friday in my hotel room, and then when I got back on Saturday, I watched basically all of the afternoon wave. So from the final 6 groups or so, I watched their entire round. It was fun. I actually kind of liked the course. I was surprised more people weren't doing. People did a ton of scoring, but it felt man, guys are leaving strokes out there, and they're still shooting 6 under at this course. So it was kind of fun to watch that. We hadn't had a good shootout in a while, and I like a shootout. I just don't like the shootout when it comes every single week. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you like them spaced out. I don't know. I don't mind a shootout, but I didn't feel like bogey was in play enough.
Yeah, that's true. The par
so that kind of I don't mind the shootout, but I like the shootout where there is more bogeys actually in play, and you're just scoring almost like a Pete Dye course. There's bogeys out there, but when you're in the spots, you can literally go banana. So yeah, that's all. I watched a bit. I had the Pendrith ticket. We're fired up here. Pat Richmond Hill, the fact that he's still props to him for still going by Richmond Hill.
And not
because
Toronto.
Anyone who's ever been from Richmond Hill, you ever meet someone from Richmond Hill on a vacation in an airport on a cruise ship, let's just say Toronto. Now Richmond Hill's about 25 minutes north of where I live, and you sometimes like to laugh at my northness in the Toronto parameters. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what to say. So props to him for being announced on the first tee is Richmond Hill, but that galvanized a lot of people locally this week. Nonetheless, good for Taylor. But I did watch Finau, Taylor, couple big tees. I was into it.
I think it was very important for Pendrith to, I mean, it's not great to not show up really on a Sunday when you're in contention, but it's good that he was there. That we always like to look at that for some of the younger players. Like, can you get there? You're in contention, you hold a lead, what do you do? And sometimes guys need to fail before they can succeed. And I would prefer he have this experience the next time going through. It was funny because I was out on Pendrith. I didn't end up betting him, but Tambo kind of talked me into him as a DraftKings play and why he could really do well this week when we did the Wednesday show. We're going live at 9:15 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday this week with Tambo. Unfortunately, he got bounced in the Fantasy Golf World Championships. That's a bummer. There's one guy who got like 11 teams through, so he has like 11 of the 40 spots in the final or something like that. Hey, good on him. Like, you're going to win all those seats. Play it close to the vest and try to cash as many as possible. He's playing true GPP style, although true GPP style, when I was talking to Tambo, when the chalk absolutely smashes, is pretty tough to do. And your cash game lineups are doing a lot better when it comes down to that. But with Pendrith, if he can get inside, because I was out on him because his approach play has been so bad, right? But if you look from like 75 and in, and even 100 and in, his wedge game is really, really good. And I started to like go backtrack in my mind because I didn't think it was like an absolute mashers course, a bombers course. And I don't think that really played out. It's not though. Like guys,
yeah.
I mean, Pendrith did really well, but if he couldn't hit those
elite driving course, if you can drive the ball deep and in the fairway, you're going to set up.
Yeah, but that's any course. If you can drive it deep and drive it into the fairway.
But this one doesn't really have the bogey in play. So there was just less places.
I get that. But at the same time, like Steven Yagabombs is up there by the end of it too, right?
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Like, it's not, I don't think it's a huge requirement. It's an advantage at this course if you're hitting those like 60-yard spinner shots really well. And when I dug into the stats, that is actually what it showed with Pendrith, that he's really good from in close, like with a half gap wedge in his hand. But you push him out a little bit further, and all of a sudden he's not so hot with those approaches. It's just funny. Like, at this course, that is a path you can take. Like you mentioned, if you can drive it deep, even if you're in the rough, it's not really that big of a deal. You get less spin on the ball, but you can still flight it the way that you want it. So that's something to keep in mind for this next year, that if you're going to do the splits and you're going to take these bombers, like these elite style bombers, just try to go like 75 and in and see if they rate out really well on that. If they do, then you can take them.
Going in the notes.
You don't take notes, do you?
No, I got a little booklet. I haven't really written in it in a few years, but so this one doesn't really show up. It's got a lot of like older memories of what I thought about some things and events.
Okay,
and maybe one.
You know who hurt my feelings on the weekend?
A golfer?
Yeah,
Webb Simpson,
Lee Hodges.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Lee Hodges got when I was watching on Saturday, he got relegated to looking mad in the background of Cameron Young shots.
Yeah, he wasn't hitting anything. He actually made some like big putts, and even on Friday he had to scramble a bit, and he was getting saved by his scrambling, which is no recipe at a place where the scoring was happening like that. But I don't even mind him for this week at a first glance at like the longer numbers. So maybe I'll go back, to be honest.
So here are the top contenders in the Rookie of the Year race. And I don't think Cameron Young has it on lockdown, as crazy as that sounds. I think there are two guys who could beat him. Potentially three, if we're really digging deep. If Mito can get like a FedEx Cup playoff win or something like that, I think that could elevate him up to the top of the list. But Cameron Young is the clear number one right now. But Davis Riley is also a rookie. He like Cameron Young has 7 top 10s. Davis Riley has 6 top 10s. He has a playoff loss. Like if he picks up a win this week, for example, that probably puts him in first place.
Yeah, you could be right. I would just say it's a voting award, and it's a lot of perception, and there's the Cam Young T10s, T5s probably feel a lot different than the Davis Riley ones.
They do. It's a lot like Zalatoris. Like, what, Cam Young came second at the Open. He came third at the PGA Championship. I think he came second at Riviera. He has very notable being in contention at courses, a lot like Zalatoris. But, I mean, if Theegala gets a win, they're not actually separated by all that much. Just Cam Young has far fewer starts. Like, Theegala's played this will be his 30th tournament. Davis Riley's played 26 times. Cameron Young has played 22nd. So, like, per event, Cameron Young is doing a lot better. But then you have Riley and Theegala, who aren't that far behind. And then you have Mito. And I think that Mito will still get credit for being the PGA Championship leader 71 holes of the event. And if he ends up with a playoff win, I think that would reflect very well upon him.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I would agree with you. Like, there were players like Chad Ramey where the win doesn't trump anything Cam Young has done, but you mentioned 3 players where the win could mean more, specifically Mito's. Theegala will do a lot for him. He's a likable player, it seems. So the win would do enormous things, and the timing of the win as it correlates to when they actually vote would certainly help a lot.
Yeah, that goes a long way. Like, did Patrick Cantlay end up winning Player of the Year last year? Or did Rahm win? I can't remember now.
I think Patrick Cantlay got it. Yeah,
and John Rahm was the best player last year. But Cantlay won down the stretch, so all of a sudden, that's an interesting one right now for Player of the Year. Like, Scheffler is the Player of the Year, but I could see other things not working out that way. He hasn't won since the Masters, so he sucks now.
Yeah, things would have to work out that way. We've been down this road before, friend. I think Rory took one from Brooks a couple years ago that was highly debated.
Yeah,
Rory had the Players in the FedEx Cup. Brooks had the... I'm just saying, we've debated this thing like last year. It's often heavily debated, and then you'll always debate like the value of that freaking FedEx Cup. I'm sure the people voting don't even value it the same. There's probably a very large spectrum of how they quantify the importance of even Eastlake itself. So I'll expect another debate again. Scheffler still got a big enough lead, because who could it like Xander or even Finau? I mean, Finau tears it maybe. But it would take a full-blown FedEx Cup win for them to take anything from Scheffler in his major and premium wins.
Well, I think if I had to rank them right now, how I would probably vote for Player of the Year, and probably how it shakes out right now, I think Scheffler and Cam Smith are on a different level than everyone else.
Agreed.
Cam Smith has Kapalua, he has the Players, and he has the Open Championship. It's pretty good.
So if he gets a FedEx Cup win, he would jump Scheffler.
I mean, he might be ahead of Scheffler right now, based on those.
If you wanted to.
He has 2 bigger, I mean, let's call the Masters and the Open a wash. Like, they have equal importance. Like, the Players is better than the API, it's better than Phoenix, and it's better than the match play. And he does have another win on the card, too.
And he spread it out, right? At like almost 3 different points in the calendar, where it just shows this run. So if he has another one at this other juncture in August, you'll say the months he won at, Player of the Year.
And then you have Tony and Xander are probably 3 and 4. But like, if Thomas does anything in the FedEx Cup playoffs, he'll have a major and a FedEx Cup win. That always goes a long way into helping you, especially when you get those wins and stack them later in the year. So I think there's a lot of guys who are relatively viable right now. I mean, Rahm can win 3 events in a row, and then he's Player of the Year. Probably not going to happen, because Rahm has not been up to snuff. All right, I want to play a game before I get into my losses, because I'm trying to bury this as far as possible, because it's embarrassing. I'm not going to lie to you. It sucks when you lose. It sucks a lot when you lose and your bank account goes down. It's not fun. I want to quiz you, sir, so we're going to put some music on the clock right now. FedEx Cup standings, top 10, to show it's important. Can you name them right now?
Well, I like where this conversation's going to go. Scheffler, Cam Smith.
1, 2.
Xander, Tony Finau.
4 and 7.
Patrick Cantlay.
Number 5.
So I have named how many of them?
5.
Justin Thomas.
Number 8.
Will Zalatoris?
No, he's number 11, sir. You're missing a guy who's won 3 times this year. who I totally forgot about in the Player of the Year stuff too.
Sorry, I forgot a player who won 3 times, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, Sam Burns?
Sam Burns is number 3.
Okay. I'm just looking at Masters odds because I feel like that's a good list. Rory.
Rory's number 6.
So how many am I missing?
2. You're missing 9 and 10.
Fitzpatrick.
No, Fitzpatrick's 13.
Hideki.
Hideki's number 10. Correct. You have 1 left, and I've already said his name and said what his FedEx Cup standing was earlier in the show.
Ooh, that makes me feel silly. Spieth or Morikawa?
No, it's not Morikawa. Spieth is 14. He's a rookie.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You know what? That's great. Great for him. Cammy Young.
Yeah,
awesome.
Cam
okay.
Young,
Yeah. So
that's pretty good.
my bad not a hard. Well, okay. So does the FedEx Cup matter? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of pulled this very raw, like just raw. Do you care about the FedEx Cup? And I think it came back 64-36 no. And there are a lot of comments that I needed to word it better. But if you're telling me I needed to word it better, I just said that just means you care. So you can vote yes and leave me alone. I don't know if the FedEx Cup matters. I don't think it has resonated with sports fans. And that kind of draws me into a bigger question, which I don't want you to get mad at for asking, but like, does the FedEx Cup in and of itself and the people seemingly not caring in it, isn't that almost showing you what the future of LIV probably is? Because isn't LIV just like a glorified FedEx Cup?
Yeah,
like
I agree.
So, and in and of itself, so you like or not like it, well, just want to say like full props to Stenson. Like coming into that hurricane, being one of the guinea pigs who shows up in New York off that whole Ryder Cup thing. I mean, whatever. People, the words can be parsed on giving up your dream thing, as you said with the Ryder, but like, what an introduction, bro. That's like,
do you think, you know,
wow, what an intro. What an introduction. Like, what a storyline. Good for him, I guess.
I'm putting on the hat right now.
Yeah.
Do you think it was rigged for Stenson to win to showcase to the other players who are still on the fence, like, hey, you can come over and win $5 million, no big deal?
If they were ever gonna rig anything, wouldn't Phil have won the first one, or that would have been too fake? This is like somewhat believable.
Yeah, you gotta bury. You can't listen. That's a great part of it.
It's like Thomas Crown Affair. You gotta like just walk in the front door and play it cool. Like Phil coming in, people been looking for hijinks,
especially with the way he was playing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people in on it if it's rigged, or maybe you really only have to tell like the 12 guys who you've paid a fortune to that it's rigged, because it's not like someone else is coming to take it. I don't know. I don't want to go there, but I had the thought, but I don't actually believe it. Like I had the joking thought, but I don't actually believe it, because Stenson was abysmal. Like, but I don't know. Motivation is a weird thing in golf, I guess. Like he didn't even have the decent pre-live results that like Charles did.
I know.
I bet a little on Howell this week, thinking, I could see the link to Charles. Some like half decent PGA results into this thing. Like, okay. And he won. No, Stenson, a straight shout out to my boy Dom Cintorino for that Stenson tout. I certainly wouldn't have put your money on it, but it won.
I put it this way. I could have used you putting my money on it when we get to this.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what your point of the question is. Do people care or not care about the FedEx Cup? I'm still going to say no. I think people enjoy a golf tournament with the fields that they represent. But I think people have kind of tuned out of Eastlake, and if it's close in the last 2 hours, they'll happily tune back in.
Here is two things. Luke Donald has just been officially named Euro Ryder Cup captain, replacing Henrik Stenson. So that has now happened. I tried to tune into LIV. I watch it on the golf course for like 2 seconds because it's the easiest way to see what the leaderboard is. And like I watched maybe 30 seconds of it this week. I watched that Trump swing off the first tee in the Pro-Am more than I watched the entire fucking event. And I gotta say, For a guy who's almost 80, the swing actually looks pretty good.
Gets through the ball.
Yeah.
Gets through the ball. I don't know. I pray you don't post my ass crack later, as we had some pre-show problems. But like, you want to see me follow through trying to put something on it? Like, my rear might look like that too. And I'm not even 40 yet. So by like 50 probably will. So I can't besmirch Donald. He seems like he puts a full load into the ball. He gets everything into it, and the jokes of his score are the jokes, but he's not half, like, seems pretty good. I mean, gets to play a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not dissing the swing.
No,
I like you. Like, the only place I know to see a live leaderboard is
YouTube,
is the live feed. So it's like, all right, I guess they get the watch from me. It's weird to think the event got like less. I don't know. It felt like less buzzy than the last one.
It did, but didn't you say that they actually secured rights on like DAZN or something like that internationally? So I don't know. I was still able.
I think
to
that's
watch
just DAZN Canada.
Is it? But it wasn't geo-blocked for us on YouTube, so we could still watch it on YouTube. But I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was the case in some other countries where maybe it was geo-blocked. If DAZN had picked it up, that maybe that could be the result, or just people don't fucking care. There could be that too.
Well, listen, I don't know what this means for the state of local TV for us here in I don't want to say Canada, but the region of the country that I live in, Pat, that you will know. There's like a local channel, which I think you have friends that have probably been interned at out in Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
CHCH.
They're
airing live.
Are they actually?
On TV. Yeah.
They're just broadcasting.
CHCH is airing live. It's like Murder, She Wrote reruns, MASH, and then live.
Oh.
Live. I couldn't believe it, but it's true.
So
they've got a TV deal in Hamilton, Ontario, folks.
Well, shout out to my guy Phil Perkins, who's the lead anchor at CHCH. The first person that I
can't believe Phil hasn't hit you up with this.
I didn't realize he actually hit me up last week about something else. I hadn't talked to him in a bit, but he was the first person I ever started doing sports shorts with on the internet. Phil Perkins, my guy. Went to his wedding. Okay, very beautiful wedding. He got married at that bank on King Street. Like it used to be a bank. Very nice stuff at like King and Jarvis.
Yeah.
Anyway, losses for the year. I want you to guess. How much money have I lost betting on golf this year? From Kapalua through now.
I don't know. I don't want to do that.
Just take a guess. It's not good. You know,
$2,000?
No, it's $3,227.
Yeah.
I was down a bit last year. I think I lost like 400 over the course of the season last year. And I was up. The COVID year was fucking fantastic. I won like $6,000 that year. So I'm not like I'm not sweating it, but at the same time, it's really discouraging to look at.
We speak about it in the season previews. Like, if you want to bet outright golf every week, you better like just sort of have a chamber to take it on the chin. Now, you hope it can replenish itself, and you'd love to get on a heater or hit a big number. Seemingly those don't happen anymore. But yeah, you've got to be able to withstand that. Betting outright golf is literally like buying a new car every week, just like way cheaper. But the depreciation level of your bets is embarrassing. Coming from a guy who makes them, sometimes overbets them.
And here's the thing, though. I get 2 winners the next 4 weeks. I'll be up for the year.
Let's go. Let's catch it.
Based on my track record of picks, it's probably not going to happen at this point. I've had so many fucking second place finishes. It's unreal. But here's why. But I can tell you the main reason why. Looking at it right now. Tony Finau was what, 14-1 last week?
Yeah.
I was never betting that. I was never betting Tony at 18-1 at the 3M. I should have bet Cameron Smith. He was 22 or 25-1. I just took the other jabronis around him. That's my bad. I wasn't getting to Xander at the Scottish coming in as like the favorite that week. That wasn't happening. Yeah. Didn't get JT Poston. That's a miss by me. That was in sort of the range where I wanted to look at. I thought Fitzpatrick was just overpriced because he was 25-1 at the U.S. Open. Yep. Didn't get there. Got to Rory. Billy Ho just wasn't on my radar. Should have got to Burns, although Burns I think was like 20-1 or 18-1 at Colonial.
Huge live numbers that flirted in like the 70s, 80s. Yeah,
sure,
but you're right. You're talking about the pre-week process.
Pre-tournament bets. Justin Thomas, you got to him at the PGA Championship. He was 16-1 when he ended up winning. Like, that's just a run. Rahm won at like 8-1. Cantlay and Schauffele as the team won at 10-1. Like, just been a lot of sub 20s, and I just don't bet sub 20s. And it's funny because we went through that like 3-year stretch where those guys just weren't winning. It was all the 20 to 40 range, and that range has been fucking depleted, especially in like the past 5 months, and that's just going to kill your bank account if you're not someone who bets those types of numbers.
I would also say, even from like an outright favorite perspective, you think though, I feel like that is straight hit more than most. I mean, Rory in Canada, Rahm Mexico, you could maybe I'm being greedy and I am just thinking it, but Finau last week, that's just 3 off the top of my head. I feel like the straight favorite, like we're not saying the good players don't win, but the top of the board, yeah, it's coming in a lot. I guess even Xander in Scotland counts as a straight top of the board. So yeah, it's been and the team event, wow, just so many straight to the top. Not just close to the top. You're not the only one. I'm lucky in this last run, Pat. All I've hit is the majors. I hit JT, I hit Cam Smith. I guess I call myself big game hunter. I don't lament the second places, but the people that like ride with me, let me know it's been a go.
Yeah, so congrats to any. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of people there who are up betting so far this year.
Oh, there were heaters in there too.
Yeah, because there were names, and I missed all the big ones. Like people had Straka, people had Spawn, people had KH Lee, people had Post, and I just missed them. I had Spieth live. That was a big one at the Heritage coming into the final day. But just all my guys. Luke List was a big one, especially with Zalatoris coming in second. Having those, that floated me for a few months. But yeah, it's been a rough go for your old boy Pat Mayo.
Well, you got to get it back in football, or just make Tim like a Jets bet for 3,200. We'll get it all back.
Get it all back? It's probably the way to go. Who has made the most money off the Live Tour that hasn't joined the Live Tour? My answer, Tony Finau.
Oh, like the offer?
No, because all these
guys,
good
or the field, like Bryson wasn't in Detroit this week, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, like all the guys who left were the guys that would normally play Minnesota and Detroit, so now Tony Finau can win.
Yeah, sure, great point. And I'm sure people are going, when you want to tout Tony for something big, people are gonna mock these wins. Who cares? I guess, yeah, good for Big Tone. I don't know, man. What he say is quote like losers are just winners who haven't kept trying or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I definitely mashed that up so bad.
That was good. Yeah, that's verbatim what he said.
Yeah, let's catch. I got some bets I want to make. I just wish I knew the numbers.
Wyndham Championship. We are at Sedgefield CC, a part of, I joked about this in my column on DK Nation about Russell Henley. Like, if there was a tour, it's not the Live Tour, but we have our own breakaway tour where it's like the Sony, the Wyndham, Colonial, Heritage, and those courses. You could have like Kisner and Henley and Webb Simpson. You can all just go play on this tour and like compete every single week. But it's one of these courses where anyone really can compete. So we have Sedgefield. It's 7,173 yards, par 70. You can get to both. Anyone in the field can get to both of these par 5s. In 2, last year was the highest score it's been in some time. Minus 15 was a 6-way playoff. Russell Henley should have won last year, by the way, if you were looking. Not only did he shoot +1 on an easy day on Sunday, he missed the playoff by a stroke after missing a 3-footer on the 72nd hole to make it a 7-man playoff. But that was the first time it was, I guess, above or below, however you want to say it, minus 20 in ages. And when we go to DraftKings Sportsbook and take a look at the faves, you got Zalatoris, Lowry, Sungjae, Billy Horschel, 12-12, 14-14. Then Webb, Connors, Scott, HV3, Si Woo. Those are all the names below 30-1. What are you thinking where you want to go? I know I mentioned Connors a little bit earlier. I kind of like him here. He's been putting much better recently, and that helps.
You did mention Connors. I do like him a lot here. I went to bed. Good players are winning now. So I literally well, firstly, you also say Henley should have won last year. I guess it shouldn't have gotten to the point. But once Henley should have won and didn't, Adam Scott should have won and blew it, which then allowed someone else to win. So congratulations, which was Kevin Kisner. And great shout to my boy PGA Tout, who like almost guaranteed it pre-tournament last week and cashed, I think it was like a 70, something great on Kisner last year. Moving past that, Maybe I should have the balls to go to the top. Time is telling us to go to the top. I'm going to be cheap. It's that next range, Pat. It's that Connors. It's that Adam Scott, who played 3 really nice rounds, a disastrous Saturday. Him and Tagala just like were the only players to truly die on Saturday who were playing decent, and Lee Hodges. Yeah, I like Adam Scott. I like Corey Connors, and I like Harold Varner III. And there's a guy at like 30 who I like as well. So that's who I'm looking at.
So the other place where this is a week to shop around, because DK has Zalatoris at 12. The site I'm looking at right now has Zalatoris at 18. When their enhanced win comes out, that'll be 19 or 20. So because this tournament is really weird and anyone can compete, and some of the top names haven't played in a while, then you have these like middle tier names that are coming in really good form, that odds are going to be all over the place. Like Webb Simpson 28, Connors 28, Russell Henley 33, Varner 35 over here. So you might want to go shop around. The DK number on Hatton is probably the best. What do you make of Hatton? He had a top, I think he was 11th at the Open Championship. Well, he's not playing bad golf right now.
And right before the Open, a nice little showing in Scotland. It's weird though. It would be quite a course dichotomy, right? Like to say, oh, look what he did in Scotland, and to say Ty will do it here. I'm a big Hatton fan. He'll be, I just named a pretty big short list of players like between 25 and 35, so I don't want to make it bigger, but he would probably be the next one on that. And I'm going to bet Harold Varner at this 35-1.
I would rather bet Henley at 35.
I'm going to bet them both.
Okay. That
was the guy I wanted to get to. Henley, Varner, Connors, and Scott were sort of like the 4 players I really wanted to see numbers. Should have known everyone's going to be short. But to your point, we haven't had a long winner in a long time. And I don't want to make the case for one other than to say Davis freaking Love won here a few years ago. And it's the exact same golf course. And he was still an old man then. And that's always, before Tiger came back and won the Masters, Pat, I guaranteed he would win another PGA event. Like before he came back for that comeback, the morning after Davis Love won at Sedgefield at like 50, I'm like, I don't care what's up with Tiger's body. He's going to win again. I just watched Davis Love win again. So that was like a great moment in Tiger fandom, as weird as that was. And I think he could come back and win Sedgefield. I don't want to say this year, but next year or beyond. And I'm not kidding either. Like that's, if he's going to go outside the majors, I think Sedgefield's on like a 3-course, 3-tournament add-on. If they're in the leg to happen, but I'm not going to bet on long players. I don't care. I don't want to say I'm over investing this week, but I like players. I like players in that like 25 to 40. It
does seem like, now just looking at the DraftKings Sportsbook numbers compared to what we have at least one other book right now, DraftKings Sportsbook has wildly overvalued the top of the market. I would expect that to come back down. So if you want to bet a favorite at DraftKings Sportsbook, wait a few days. You'll most likely get a better number. Like I'm seeing 22 on Billy Horschel, 25 on Adam Scott. There's a couple guys who will be a little bit off, obviously. Like Hatton is 30 at DraftKings Sportsbook. He's 28 at this spot. It's this like middle tier that I think you're going to end up with deeper numbers at DraftKings Sportsbook initially, and then those will shrink. But even this, like, Kisner's 40, Bezadenhout's 45, Munoz is 50, Stallings is 50, Streelman is 60, Davis Riley is 66 in these spots, and they're just a bit overvalued right now on DK Sportsbook. So that's where I would be looking. But then you have like Pendrith has a better number. Wise has a better number. Keith Mitchell has a better number. Tom Kim has a better number, all at DraftKings, if that's the way that you wanted to play it. So I don't understand why you would bet Scott instead of Horschel. If they're at DraftKings Sportsbook, I get it, because one's 14 and one's 25. But if one's 24 and one's 26 at somewhere else, I'd rather bet Billy Horschel than Adam Scott.
I can't really argue with that other than the last couple of weeks, I kind of just said exposure's going to get low, and I hope to get lucky. And I really almost thought I could have with Grillo or Pendrith. Lucky on the lucky. Not out here saying like I projected that. Lucky. Now I have feelings, and maybe it's dangerous to have feelings. And I got a feeling about you, Adam, who I almost bet last week didn't. It was like my first man off the card. I saw enough good rounds to want to bet him at the place where he missed like a 4-footer to not win it last year. I don't really have a methodical response to that. The numbers would probably say the 3-point shorter on Horschel to Scott, you should probably pivot. I'm not gonna.
Lowry, Sungjae, Zalatoris are the 3 top. I mean,
I was almost going to guess Lowry in the FedEx Cup ranking question.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the win. He just has a bunch of top. And he doesn't play as much as some of the other guys. But can he? Like, he's been putting so poorly, and the tee to green's been really great. But he just continues to burn me especially if this ends up being like -20. I could see Sungjae doing that. He would have my most confidence of those 3, but I'm not going to get there with. I mean, this is the range that keeps hitting as winners, but I just don't see myself getting to one of those 3 guys.
And it's so funny, Pat, like looking at the board, I don't care which website you want to look at. There's like double the amount of players who are under 30-1 than last week. Last week, it felt like there were 5 guys. It was like the 3 under 20 and then Max Homa and someone else. Now there's like 12 guys or almost 10 guys 30-1 and under. So
who else can we potentially go to here? Webb's irons rounds 2, 3, and 4 at Rocket Mortgage were a fucking disaster. I don't know what's going on with him, but it would kind of come down to me. Like, I like Connors the best of this range at like the 28 to 30s. I like Henley as well. I'll most likely be on him. But then you have Webb and Hatton. I think I like Hatton better than I like Webb right now.
I like almost everyone more than Webb.
But here's the thing.
I picked on Webb with head-to-heads. People will do the course thing. I'm not saying I'm like going to step in front of Webb, but everybody in this range, if you're asking me who I would rather bet on, I'd probably rather bet on every single of them, except maybe I'd take Webb over Harmon. And that might even be a mistake.
Starting in 2012, 22nd, 11th, 5th, 6th, 72nd, 3rd, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, 7th. So no wins. So that would, be good for your case. For the
I would need more. I didn't like it. I picked on him last week with the Scott head-to-head, so I was tracking him. And every time I thought I should be scared, he played horrible. Like, he shanked it. I have no interest in what Webb has done. I don't see enough life to turn that into a win. Maybe I'll get got, but I don't see it.
How about a guy
Didn't see it with Stenson either.
How about a guy who's come 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 1st at this event in 4 of his past 5 starts?
I'm trying to think who was in the playoff last year that I'm forgetting about.
That we
Is that Justin Rose?
No, we had money on this guy, or I had money on this guy, and he's 25-1 this week because he was just.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, man. You got to play the narrative. It was Ric Flair's last match last night, so now you need to go to see. Woo! Kim makes a lot of sense. He gave us that cameo that told us this was his favorite course on the PGA Tour.
So when I woke up this morning, watched Ric Flair's last match.
Heard it was bad.
I found it.
Heard it was bad.
I just had to watch it. It was a scene. Like Taker was there, and Bret Hart, and DDP, and Conrad, put on a show. Yeah, it was awkward, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, no, this one seems to bet all around. I almost listed those names I like, and it's almost like Siwoo was too popular. It makes too much sense.
No one is going to bet him at 25-1. That's just not happening. He's going to fall back.
I know, but I'll feel really dumb, and it's easy when like I'm swimming around all these guys in that exact betting range, and I'm not going to move on Siwoo. I don't know. Like if I was going away for the weekend, maybe I'd just blindly bet him and no one else, but I'm not. So
I'm considering doing it even at the number. Like he's coming in with a 15th and a 14th. Like he's actually playing pretty well at the moment, and that's like good enough for me with Siwoo.
That's the form is good, the course fit is good. There's life. There's life heading into the perfect course fit. I like that. That's why I've got no interest in Webb. There's not enough life. If you have life coming into the course fit, I can get behind it. Yeah, wouldn't be shocked if I bet Siwoo. It'd be total FOMO. I got my own losers. I feel I got a bet here. It's playing really well, and it makes a lot of sense.
I don't want to spend too much time on going like player by player. Like, would you go back to Pendrith? I'm probably not going to get there with Pendrith again.
No, I'm not there at Pendrith this week. That would be a pass. Going a little shucks, let me get the
Anywhere you want. You can go to 200 to 1 if you'd like, Jeff.
Okay, no, I just want to mention two players here because I don't think like the 40 on Denny, like he's gonna get sucked into like the putting and that part of it. There was form. People got really let down. Where would it have been? Minnesota?
Yes. No, it was last week.
Yeah, because people were
last week.
Yeah, so yeah, people are excited about the form on a course fit off the T10 at the major. It was a letdown. I'm seeing a 40. I don't think that is unfair at all. And the player that I thought I could bet today over 50, although I shouldn't be surprised that I can't. I was I knew I wasn't going to sneak a Henley number, even a Scott with his round yesterday. I really thought we might be able to get a better nibble on Justin Rose. And that's coming from me. But that's another name. It's under 50 though, so I don't think I will be there. But I like a lot of things that he has done, and yeah, I thought about it.
So the guys that I'm giving, Davis Riley, you can get as deep as 66 to 1. Is that just too deep at this point for a guy that was 20 to 1 3 weeks ago?
Could be. And I'm all for that angle. When you bet every single week, you know, like the flows of how this thing is supposed to go, and you catch that and it pops out to you. 66 seems quite strong. Between 50 and 100, there's not a ton that I'm into, and that would, I guess, be one of them.
Yeah, it's been really bad for him over the past little bit. He had that great run. Maybe his great run is over at the moment, or maybe this can turn into a putting contest at this course. You generally do need the approach play to come along with it, but we know we can kind of pile up the putting. I mean, he lost 8 strokes at the Travelers, but he also gained 9 in Mexico and lost 2 strokes on approach, came in 5th. So his putter is good enough that it can sustain him not having a great driving or approach week. He can't be bad at those things, but he can be neutral, and his putting can carry him through. He is one of those players. So that's interesting to me to look at. Adam Long has some interest to me. You can get him at 60 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Bez had some interest to me, but I don't know if I can quite get there at 45. That's the best number I can see. It's 30 at DK Sportsbook. That's just a no-fly zone for me in that regard. The two, really the one, I mean, I'm going back to Smalley this week. He missed the cut on the number. This is his home course. I can get him at 90 to 1 this week. I feel pretty good about that. Do we have to keep playing Goddard? I feel like we do.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
It's not like he's missing cuts.
No, and he has that run in them. Does this not feel like an Goddard course? Doesn't feel like a course fit at all, though, right?
I don't know. I mean, he played really well.
Not to say we even know enough, but
I mean, it all depends on what you think of him. He's putting well inside 15 feet. He's basically being the opposite Zalatoris, because I think that he does have a bit of Zalatoris type of game. Zalatoris obviously better, but you'd want Zalatoris standing over a 45-foot putt and knowing that he's going to 2-putt or even make it. Goddard is sort of like the opposite. I don't want him over the 45-footers. I want him over the 11-footers because he actually seems to make those.
I could get into that. Again, there's very little in front of 100 north of 50 that have my attention. That did, but I don't know if that's just because I've been on this wagon with a lot of people. So why get off at the Wyndham? One last chance to lose money on Goddard.
Yeah, it gives us we have a 2-month break from Goddard up here if he can't get it done. And I'm still up money on him from the John Deere in his top 5. That paid well enough on the each way that it worked itself out. I am betting Adam Svensson this week at 90 to 1 though.
He will stick it. And it looked like the putting was much improved last week. I don't mind that.
No, it went the other way on Svensson. He had gained on the greens in 8 straight events before last week.
He gained in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Must have tracked him at the worst moments.
Yeah, he gained 3.3 strokes. He had no approach play. It was his worst approach in driving. And he's going every other week with the great approach play, but
I had no Svensson, so I wasn't he played well for a guy that did nothing well, is what you're telling me last week?
No, last week his irons were fire, but it's been every other week. So technically, if you follow the trends, this would be a bad week for his approach play. But I like the courses where he has played well so far this season. Like he did really well at the John Deere, the Travelers. He made the cut at Colonial. He was 26 at the Heritage. Obviously, he played really well at the Honda. He was top 10 at the Sony. Like all the courses that are like this one, he's at least made the cut. He has 2 top 10s. He's 90-1, and he's coming off a week where he gained 6.5 strokes on approach, and it was the first time that he had lost putting in 8 events. Sign me up. I think it's a good number.
Yeah, I like all those. Been betting him a lot. Didn't bet him last week and was kind of taken aback. Not taken aback, but it was nice to see him scoring well. Didn't deep dive how he did it. A little north of that, would you trust Matt Neesmith?
No, but when I did the research show, he just kept popping up over and over and over.
He should.
Again. Yeah. First round.
Makes sense
he feels
based on
like
what he does.
He feels like such a first round leader bet. Maybe all of these guys down here are first round leader bets. That's also where I lost a lot of money. I had a terrible first round leader year.
Yeah.
Sorry, Senson's 70-1. I got that wrong.
Yeah, there's not a ton. I don't really need to waste any time here. I don't mind Hodges to potentially go back there. I saw it 130-1.
Stewart
Part of me wants to make a
and Matthias Schwab were the two that stuck out to me. 150, 160. For like the long bomb type guy. I mean, you mentioned Davis Love could win here. When you look at where Sink has played well, it's like he won at the Heritage and places like that. And it's like, I mean, he was kind of a disaster at the Open. Before that, he'd been making cuts. Maybe he just can't putt enough to win at this course. That could most definitely. I'd probably get to Schwab before I got to Sink, I think.
180 on DraftKings for Schwab.
It's a good number, actually.
I wonder if like Lahiri still got any of that little form.
Doesn't seem so.
Yeah, damn it. Just be a nice little spot for him. Yeah, I don't know. I see myself betting like 4 players, 28 to like 45, Pat.
Yeah, so I bet on Smalley at 90. I bet on Svensson at 70. I mean, do you just want to do the quick picks then?
There's one super. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, quick picks. Like I'm not here to say like Zach Johnson 250 because Davis Love won or something.
Yeah,
even though he did play well last week.
Tom Kim actually does have my interest a little bit. At 45, that's a good number, I think, on him. He's just playing so well. I think this is his 5th or 6th straight week though. I mean, he's a very young man, so let's see where's he.
But he must be loving it.
Tom
like
Kim,
he must be in heaven.
It's his 5th straight week, so that's actually not so bad. And he has 2 top 10s, a 26th and a 47th. So
I don't think that like fatigue is a thing. He must be so energized to like be living this like this PGA Tour lifestyle, locker room accommodation, walks out in the range. Like there's no fatigue. I wouldn't worry about the fatigue. I bet you he's rejuvenated, like loves it every day. He's like a kid in a candy store. He's 19 years old.
I gotta think about it with him. So I think he's
not bad. Would you 45? And that's before enhanced.
No, that's 45 at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Oh, okay.
The enhanced will be up to 38 at the other place.
Oh, okay. Well, 45. Yeah. Not gonna talk you out of it.
All right. Well, we'll see where we end up. Quick picks for the Wyndham Championship. I, like you, will go with Connors and Henley. I like both those guys. I'm seeing a 28 and a 35 right now. I'm guessing with the boost, it'll be 30 and 35. I'm confident. I mean, I'm not confident with those numbers. I'm good. Those numbers are very acceptable to me. I bet Svensson and Smalley 70 and 90. And I'm going to give some thought to, I'll probably end up back on Goddard just at a FOMO. And then I think it comes down to Hatton and Siwoo, one of those two, and maybe Adam Long or Seabez if that number falls a little bit. And Davis Riley, I do have to think about because that number just seems way too large for this field based on what he's done so far this year. I know he's going through it right now, but guys break out of stuff all the time.
For me, like I said, I'll be there on Connors and Henley. I'm also going to be there on Varner at that 35, but we can maybe hold out for something enhanced on that. We'll see if it gets bigger, although that 35, by the time they do enhance,
might be gone.
Might Yeah, might not even be 35 with enhanced. Nonetheless, I got to take another ride on this Varner roller coaster I'm in. And I don't see my other pick coming from, like, I see it coming from in this range. You mentioned Hatton. I have mentioned Adam Scott. Those are probably my two favorites to get that money.
One and done
bombs
picks.
I'll look at. I don't know.
One and done picks for the week. Cust picking up some cash with Cam Young last week. He cursed himself in the first round. I was at the golf course with Tim yesterday, and he's like, "You didn't bet on Taylor Pendrith, did you?" I was like, "No." Why? He's like, "I think he's gonna win today." I was like, "What about Cameron Young?" He's like, "No, that guy has no chance to win anymore." I was like, "All right, thanks, Tim." So all he did was just keep the curse on Cam Young, and then he cursed Pendrith at the same time. So Homa didn't really come through. You're 800 grand ahead with 4 tournaments to go. So a win from any of us, or even a second from one of us, kind of from Cust or I, will vault us back into contention with you. I'm slightly ahead of him by like 100 grand. Who do you want to take this week?
Well, has Tim made a pick?
No, Tim hasn't made a pick yet, so he has to wait till we pick now.
And you beat me last week because my guy didn't make the cut, so you go.
So it's my pick. Just fucking roll out Siwoo. Why not, right? I haven't used him. Yeah, Siwoo Kim for me.
Makes sense. Have I used Connors?
Yes.
Henley
for you?
Yeah.
Siwoo.
Did a double.
Henley and Cust to be determined. Find out on Wednesday's live show at 9:15 a.m. Eastern time with Tambo, or in the newsletter. You can sub to it down in the description. You can play in the Listeners League by doing the exact same thing. Jeff, what do you got going on this week?
Again, like you, the fun begins because it's August and I'm allowed to daydream. I'll be doing my golf stuff with Rick Gaiman over at Odds Checker, live show with BetSperts tomorrow. We're going to be putting out some NFL content
tomorrow. Tomorrow it drops.
So I guess like just a little tease, people can guess, Pat, like we're going to do some quarterback stuff. Where do the people think Tim is going to rank Zach Wilson among quarterbacks in a 3-year window league wide? You can find out tomorrow.
I will tell you that Tim is the only one with Zach Wilson in his top 15.
I like Wilson. He didn't make my list, if that's a spoiler. Just probably missed it.
And there are some Cuss rankings are I'm exactly the same with some of them, but there's some players he has who I feel are just way too high.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah.
That sounds accurate. Looking forward to it. I'm in a good mood, mainly because we're recording that shortly.
Yeah, me too. And we're going to keep hitting up. We're going to keep doing football stuff. Football's here. So we'll release probably part 1 on Tuesday, maybe part 2 next Tuesday, maybe this Thursday. I have David Behrman from ESPN coming on. I'm filming it with Wednesday, so I might air that one Thursday and save ours till, who are the best quarterback discussions? Not going at a date, put it that way. Now that we know that Watson's only suspended 6 games, that helps. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Rate and review, sub to the podcast, share it with some friends while we're here. We still got you golf covered all the way through. The research show was out yesterday, again, 9:15 a.m. Eastern on Mayo Media Network on Wednesday morning for the final picks, weather, DraftKings, Tambo Live in studio, all that fun stuff. That'll do it for me. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!